Yeah, everybody got a dream. If you're trying to be a producer, you're trying to be a rapper in this game, don't let people discourage you. Stand up and do your thing.
You ain't got to live on your knees. Everything's a possibility. If you wanna be a rapper, just be. Don't let them tell you can't be somebody. Stand up and get up now. Hold your head up. Wake up now. You got to go.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy Knock Real coming live from Copacabana. It's another episode of the Hiphop Save the Community show. And didn't have a whole lot to talk to you about today. I just wanted to come on and try to, give a little bit of advice for artists who are recording, making new music. It's important that, we discuss some things because we've got a lot of developments kind of happening with babyimmastarrecords, the radio show, the Diamond List playlist. We got a lot going on with that. So I'm going to try to give you some tips to kind of help you win in that situation. We're looking for artists, with great music. We're looking for hip hop. We're looking for R&B artists that have great music so that we can add it to our Diamond List playlist. Once we add it to the Diamond List playlist, then it's automatically eligible to be played on the radio show that I've been doing on Thursday nights. So far it's Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time. I don't know if that'll change. We haven't been able to do it live the way that I wanted to do because we got some technical issues, but that's all going to change. So in order to be on the show, you've got to submit. You've got to submit your music. So the email for that is babyimmastarrecords@gmail.com. If you go to my, if you're watching this on the YouTube, I'll put the link in the description here. I'll put the email in the description here so that you know exactly where to send it. It's important that you send it there just because I don't want to be getting, messages from all over the place. I don't want to be looking everywhere and then possibly miss your submission. Now the other thing is I'm not asking any money for the playlist or for the radio show. I'm not asking any money, so this is free promotion for you. It's not a huge amount of listeners just yet, but we're getting some. Our first show is at about 111 listeners. Our second show is already at almost 200 listeners, or at least 200 streams of it. So on YouTube. So there's the possibility that somebody's going to see your music, somebody's going to hear your music, see your name, and want to go to your Spotify or your Tidal and follow you there as a monthly listener, or as a follower. So this is a great opportunity for you. It's promo that doesn't cost you anything. It's done in a good format too because you're not forcing your whole album or all your songs or your 4-minute song down somebody's throat. I'm giving them like a minute and a half, tops 2-minute feature of yours. And then we kind of fade out and go into the next song. I'm going to try to say your name if I can say it. A lot of you, what I notice is a lot of you have names that I don't know how to pronounce. So if it's something really special or there's a way to say your name or you're worried about me saying it wrong, maybe record something in MP3 or whatever and send it to me so I know how to say your name because I don't want to mess up your name. All right. So I do my best with them, but I notice as I'm going through the show, like there's a lot of names I don't know how to pronounce. I see them, I recognize who the person is, but I don't know how to pronounce your name, and that's not a good thing. So if you got something real special or whatever, let me know. I'll try to take care of that for you. That's important for your brand, of course. But this is free promotion. Now, leading up into that, when you're recording your songs, you want to have songs that sound good. So what I encourage you to do is go listen to the playlist, see if you kind of fit what's going on there, and then submit. Is your music kind of the same quality? I'm not saying everybody's mix is going to be 100% on point. It's going to be as good as everything that's on there because there's people who have you can tell they spent money and they spent time getting their mixes right, getting their mastering right. And everybody's not going to sound like that. I know. I'm not requiring it to be perfect. I'm just requiring people to show some care in the music. Definitely the volumes have to be it's pretty similar to what's on there, right? We've got to bring it up. We've got to, utilize mastering to kind of bring it up to a place where it's not really that far off from other music. Because if you think about it, if I'm just playing your song straight from Tidal or, because I pretty much use Tidal with the software I use, I'm playing it straight from Tidal. So they've probably done some stuff to try to give it a little volume, but what I notice is when I'm listening to people's music and seeing whether I can add it to the playlist, there's a lot of music that the volume's like really, really low. And I can hear the elements of your music, and I hear certain things in it, and it just is like, if we just expanded the volume just a little bit, it would sound great. So sometimes that's all you're missing, and maybe that's why people are not listening so much to your music, or they listen one time and they don't come back, is because they didn't get the full experience. And so I want you guys to kind of like work on your mastering a little bit, learning how to bring your volumes up, get your LUFS in the right place. I think for something like, Spotify or whatever, you might want to shoot for between -9 and -11 LUFS. Let them back it down if they want to back it down or whatever, but probably shoot for, -9, -10, -11. All that should work. Even maybe -12, that might work for you, putting your music on the show. I have another video on here on my YouTube too that talks about how I kind of bring out my sound, and what I use is Mixbus. I use Mixbus 7 or 8, I have is the version. I add a couple of mix buses, I put the stereo track on there, I add a couple of mix buses, pan them off a little bit, bring the volume down just a little bit because I don't want it super loud, but I bring the volume down just a little bit, and just adding the buses takes your sound and it just expands it a lot. And then I might run a third channel in the center if I feel like it's necessary. I don't do a whole lot of EQ and stuff there. And then I put my mastering, my mastering plugins on the master channel. I'll put in like SPL Iron. I love the AMEC compressors, AMEC 250 EQ. What else? Shadow Hills, a mastering compressor. I have access through that stuff. To all of that stuff, I think through Plugin Alliance. I think that's where I get most of that, is through Plugin Alliance. I probably pay $10 a month for that package, but it's got a huge amount of plugins in it, and it's got those beautiful mastering plugins that just sound great. Throwing the mid side on that AMEC just sounds really good. So that's what I'm trying to, achieve with you guys, get you guys to a place where your sound is comparable to the others and can be played next to other people's music. I think that's important for you to be able to hear that. Oh, how does this sound coming in and out of other songs? Another song goes off, my song is kind of being blended in. How does it sound? Is it comparable to that? And do my vocals sound like they're full enough? Do my vocals sit out front enough? This is hip hop and R&B, so our vocals need to be in the front. And then maybe the next thing you're worried about is, are your drums in the front? So that's kind of my advice for you on that. I'm just giving you that because I want to be able to play your music. I probably came across maybe 6 artists yesterday that when I listened to their mix and their master, I just couldn't put it on the playlist because it's not going to match. And I don't like that. There's a couple songs that I was like, okay, this can go, but it's got no volume. I can't hear it. And it's not going to match up. So that's kind of the thing that I wanted to kind of talk about today, because this is opportunity for you. This is opportunity to get heard in a sea of other artists who talk about they can't get heard. I had a guy this morning I see on my Twitter that was talking about not being able to be heard. And so I'm like, this is what the playlist is for. And the playlist feeds the radio show, which is to get you to another audience. I feel like people's attention span is very short. So if you're trying to give them an album project and it's just you and they don't know you, they're probably not going to just listen to the whole thing. It's going to be rare you find a person that's going to listen to the whole thing. But back in the days, what we used to do is submit our music to radio, or our labels would submit your music to radio, and it gets played on the radio. It gets played in some kind of mix show or whatever. You submit it to DJs or whatever. They play it in the club or something. They may not play your whole song, but if it sounds good and it bangs in the club and it's getting responses by radio by just playing that snippet, it's more likely your song's gonna continue to get played. And so what I wanna do is have the artists that are on the playlist. You know, these are artists I personally pick. I love their music. I actually vibe. I listened to it yesterday morning, Sunday morning. That's all I did was listen to both of the radio shows that we've done because I love the music. I sing along with the music. The hooks are good, all that stuff. So I feel like the audience is gonna catch on to the same thing. They're gonna be like, oh, I'm hearing this song. Oh wow, I heard it for like a minute and a half or whatever, and then it switched out, and now they're like, oh, who was that artist? I like that song. Who is that artist? And then if they're hearing certain songs week after week, they kind of get used to it. And all of a sudden that melody's stuck in their head. That melody's stuck in their head when they're driving to work, or they're at work or something like that. And they're just kind of walking around the office. And next thing you know, they're humming your song and they're humming your hook. You got them. You know what I'm saying? You've established yourself in their mind. I think it takes like maybe 8 listens to a track for a person to really kind of catch on to that. So the radio show is kind of to try to get you in that situation where somebody's hearing your music enough where they're like, oh, I remember that melody. So I'm doing it on YouTube because everybody has YouTube. There's no barriers for entry there. It's not like Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, because people tend, if you got an iPhone, you're probably listening to Apple Music. Maybe you have a subscription to Apple Music. Maybe you're loyal to those products. If you have Spotify, maybe it's because you don't have to have a subscription to it and you just want the free version of that. But you're not hearing it on Tidal. You don't have Tidal. You may not have Apple Music. You don't got Deezer. You don't got all these other ones that are out there. So most of those customers and those clients of yours and those fans of yours only have one option to listen on. But with YouTube, everybody's got YouTube. Regardless of what streaming service they've got, everybody's got YouTube and they spend time on YouTube. So they're gonna find your music on YouTube through the radio show. So that's what I'm trying to create for you, an opportunity for you to get heard. So it's gonna separate the real from the fake, right? Number one, if your music is good enough to get on there, and then if your music is good enough to be played and to be heard by people, it's separating the real from the fake. There are a lot of people, in the communities who are talking about they do music, but you go to their media tab and they don't have no music. 90% of what you see is memes and all this other BS, but they telling you they don't know why nobody knows their music. I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but if you go to my pages, 99% of what you're gonna get is music. Every once in a while I'll post something else, but 99% of what you're gonna get is music related. Because I don't want anybody to put eyes on my page and not hear some music or some project that I'm working on. This radio project, the playlist, you gotta hear music. That's what I want. So that's what I'm shooting for. This is opportunity, doesn't cost you anything. If you need me to do the mastering work for you or whatever, or bring up your master a little bit or whatever, I'll probably charge you something, I don't know, $20 or something to do that. I don't know. You can maybe send me your 2-track and see if, I can do that for you. If the mix is just bad, I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna say, listen, the mix, maybe the 808s are so loud, it's overwhelming the song, and it doesn't make sense for me to try to master this when it's already been hitting through a limiter. I want tracks, if you send me the tracks, don't send me with your limiters and all that stuff on your master. Send it to me dry so that I can kind of bring it up. Send me the mix, but don't send all your stuff on your master track. Give me some headroom to kind of work with, and I'll try to bring it out and see if I can get it to the point. And if it don't work out, I ain't gonna charge you. I'm a fair person. Like if it's not gonna work out, or I feel like it's not enough, doesn't bring it out enough or whatever, or it's already kind of in a place where it's good, I ain't gonna charge you for it. I'm just gonna be honest about it. I'm just like, hey, I don't think I can do anything with this. Maybe you want to get a second opinion. But if I can do the service for you, I actually get paid a little bit, and it helps you because then I know what you've invested in your music, and then I'll put you on the playlist, and we can go from there. Not everything's gonna make it to the playlist. Why? Because I've got to curate it so that when people go there, every single song they're listening to is quality. That's my big thing. The song has to be quality. So that leads me into my next point, which is about songwriting. I was thinking about this last night. There's different genres of hip hop. There's, within hip hop, subgenres within hip hop. There's, different styles and things within it. So we're all going to be just a little bit different. Our songwriting's going to be a little bit different. Our content's going to be a little bit different. But we want to be careful about what we're giving to the community and to the public, right? Not saying careful in content-wise, but I'm saying careful in our songwriting. Making sure that our songwriting reaches the emotions of the person we're trying to reach. So if you can reach the emotions and you can touch a person and you can have that person go, I relate to those lyrics, then you're gonna be in a better shape than somebody who's like, oh, I'm a dope MC and I'm the best ever. and spitting all this stuff that nobody has any clue about. The vast majority of people may not have any clue. It means something to you, but it don't mean nothing to them. So they're not able to connect to it. Uh-oh, I think I lost the camera here. Should come right back. Okay, so I think I lost the camera there for a second. But yeah, so what I'm saying is to write music that your fans can relate to. Your lyrics need to be something you can relate to. If you think about it, music changed. It used to be like the kind of braggadocio, I'm the best, I'm this, that, and the other, I'm a dope MC and all that, when people were rocking parties and stuff back in New York in the early days of hip hop. That's what it was about, being the best MC and having the best DJ and all that type of stuff and having the best show. You were rocking the mic and rocking the crowd. But music started to change. When you look at people like Beastie Boys, the Fat Boys, you look at Public Enemy, the things that they were talking about changed. You had Public Enemy talking about 911 as a joke. And at that age that we were at, we're like, okay, if we call 911, people come because of where we lived at, but there's places where you call 911 and nobody comes. So it made us think about something that we never thought about before. When they said, they talked about Elvis. I grew up watching Elvis with my mom showing us old award shows and concerts and stuff like that. We grew up watching all of that stuff and we would see Elvis a lot. So we were, I was taken in by his ability to kind of, gather such a huge fan base. But Chuck D told me that Elvis is racist. And I never thought about that and I never heard that half of the story. So, now all of a sudden it's something I can think about, I can relate to. It's like, oh, he didn't like black people? I like what he does. I like his music and all that stuff. I get excited when I see it. And he don't like black people? Okay, now I need to start thinking about who I'm relating to and who I'm listening to. Stuff like that. So the music started to change and it started to be relatable to people's lives, and that's why people connected to it. Then you had NWA that came out after that, and they're like, F the police. And we never really heard anybody talk like that either on a record. Just blatantly like F the police, and now we're like, well, why? Because where we lived at, when police came around, it was for a serious event, but they weren't always around like that. We didn't see them every day. They weren't out harassing us, but 8 hours down the road in New York City, they're harassing the kids, and the whole experience is different. So, in LA, the experience is different. The culture is different. So now that made us think about, oh, wow, I need to watch, my surroundings. If I'm in those places, or even if I'm in my place, I gotta think about the authorities and how they might deal with me, because it affects my life. So when you're writing lyrics, you wanna write things that connect with people. You don't have to talk about your life per se, but if you're painting a picture, paint it such that they can see it. They can close their eyes and they can take your words and see what you're talking about. That's like Jadakiss dissing 50 Cent and saying your album cover is just something to break up buds on. You can see somebody in your mind with his album cover and they breaking up their buds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's the genius of somebody who's a great rapper, somebody who's a great storyteller, somebody who paints a vivid picture. That's the difference between the professional and the amateur. You know, the style of writing is extremely important. How you get your point across to make people visualize what you're saying is important, because you don't have the advantage of it being a video all the time that they can look at and see what you're talking about. They have to just hear it and be able to relate to what you're saying and be able to imagine what it is that you're talking about in your songwriting. So that's why your songwriting is extremely important. You've got to be able to kind of make that connection with people through your writing. So that's another thing that I see too. Like when I'm listening to a lot of it, it's like, do I believe what this artist is saying? I hear them saying the words, but because of maybe the delivery, the way that it's being said, the way words are being said, it makes me not believe them. Okay, yeah, you're doing what you think rappers do. You're not doing what's authentic really to you. You're doing what you think rappers do. Because some people are rapping and their style, like just their vocal tone and their style and all that stuff, number one, is like, it's like their mama told them be quiet and not to make so much noise because she got to go to work in the morning. And they're rapping like that, very monotone, very low, like they're scared to rap, you know. And then you've got other people who sound like they should be doing maybe a different genre of music. Maybe they're doing rap because that's what they feel like their talent allows them to do. But you can tell in their vocal tone that they probably shouldn't even be doing rap. You're not really made for this. Rap is has a certain swag to it. It brings in kind of the whatever region you're from. You can really authentically hear that region when someone's talking, and so in the slang they use and how they say words and just the inflection in the words and all of that is important. So that makes people believe what you're talking about because you feel authentic to where you come from. And if you can't give that emotion, that makes me, as the playlist curator, say, I can't put this song on the playlist because that don't sound like the soul. That don't sound like it came from inside, you know. So, you know, enough about that. You know, I had another little video. I'll probably show you a little clip here. You know, this guy talking about ageism in hip hop, and if you're 30 years old and you don't have a fan base and you're trying to pursue creating a fan base or whatever, that basically, you know, you shouldn't be doing that and nobody wants to hear you. Well, I beg to differ. I think there's a huge amount of people, myself included, who's well above 30, who are looking for new artists. I'm looking for new artists every day. I want to hear their music. I listen to the music. I play the music. So there's tons of people like me who want to hear good music and vibe out to the music. This is our culture. Hip hop is our culture. We don't lose our culture when we turn 30. This is who we are. It's in our blood. It's in our DNA. Hip hop is in our DNA. We grew up with it. It belongs to us. So there is no age limit in hip hop. You can rap as long as you want to rap, as long as you can write songs that are relatable to a group of people. Doesn't have to be the 18-year-olds. It don't have to be the 20-year-olds. You can rap to who you want to rap to. So don't listen to people when they're telling you like, oh, it's a young man's game. It is not. It really is not. It's anybody who can relate to the next person. So we got to get past that. 50 is, you know, hip hop is 50 years old now itself. So it ain't always going to be the young people, and older people like myself have something to say that people like myself want to hear. Right? I don't listen to the mainstream stuff now. I don't listen to the younger artists all that much. Some of them intrigue me a little bit. I kind of listen. Maybe they got a business venture or something that kind of piqued my interest, and so now I go listen to their music. Yeah, that happens. But generally, I'm listening to the independent underground people. That's who I want to listen to. That's who I want to vibe to. because that's where the good music is at right now. That's where the great music is at right now. So I'm doing the Diamond List playlist, Spotify and Tidal. I try to keep track of those two and add the music on both of those so that people on those services can hear your music. I'm doing the Baby I'm a Star Records radio show. This is opportunity for you. So hopefully you guys take, what I'm saying here today, utilize it maybe to grow your fan base. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for me, please. Follow the playlists if you can, and just be a part of your own success and part of the drive that I'm putting forth to make you successful. I'm advertising. I just set up a new Metricool account where just for Baby I'm a Star Records and this radio show, where every day some kind of reel or story or something's gonna come out across several platforms talking about that radio show, talking about the playlist. It's gonna come out every single day. So I'm putting my efforts behind this to create advertising for it, even though that's free, pretty much through Metricool, through these services, the reels and stuff, that's free. But we're getting people who are listening. It's growing. So I'm doing this for you. The least you could do for me, I would say, is to subscribe. I don't want money from you. I just want you to subscribe, right? So that's all I'm looking for. So I'm gonna jump out of here. I know I've been talking to you way too long, and my camera's cutting off and stuff like that. They're telling me to shut up. So it's your boy Knock Rio, coming from Copacabana, Rio de Janeiro. I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Remember that hip hop saved the community, and everybody have a wonderful day. Peace.
Yeah, everybody got a dream. If you're trying to be a producer, you're trying to be a rapper in this game, don't let people discourage you. Stand up and do your thing. You ain't got to live on your knees. Everything's a possibility. If you wanna be a rapper, just be. Don't let them tell you you can't be somebody. Stand.
This the type of shit that make God smile.
Type of shit they make God
In
smile.
this PG rap shit, I'm the lost files. I ain't get this shit about the mud, just to rock
No, he didn't.
diamonds. I'm here to give part-time rappers a hard time.
It's your boy.
I really live my story for niggas that's in the projects. And fuck them bitch niggas that hated me
I'm gonna stop playing with y'all.
through the process. Niggas gon' put they pride to the quoted, nigga. This the type of shit that make God smile.
Type of shit they make God
In
smile.
this PG rap shit,
The Diamond List playlist on Spotify and Tidal is the hottest hip-hop and R&B music for grown folks today. We know you tired of hearing the same old saying. These artists have been curated for your listening pleasure. Tap in with some of the best artists you've never heard.
Stuck in a room with a brace.
Don't nobody do it like us. You pay that subscription fee every single month. Make sure you get the best music on there. King PLU. Tap in with me, tap in with me. Jen Bello. The Diamond List, the Diamond List. Over 80 curated titles and 4.5 hours worth of music. I need you to open up your Spotify, your Tidal right now. Search the Diamond List and get ready to rock out. Yeah. I can smoke for everybody. You do too much and then you gotta learn how to dance with me. Turn around and put your little ass in me.
To learn Carter, but you don't know. Look, she love me, but she acting like she hate me. Baby, don't play with me. Baby, don't told her get one thing straight with me. I'll never be cool with complacency. No, this ain't no tip agency. When I'm gone, you gon' have trouble replacing me. He might buy you things, but he won't fill a void or that vacancy. Baby, just wait and see. I was blessed with God's gift. No, I ain't talking complex. I'm just way too thorough. Ain't saving hoes, bitch, I'm far from a hero. She hop on bandwagons, I hop over hurdles. Make shit pop without going commercial. Got too many goals, you ain't helping me pursue. Nice in the stew, going in, no curfew. She wrapped around my finger as tight as her girdle. Girl, I'm bound to hurt you, bound for greatness, not relation.
Baby, I'm a Star Records. The golden child, not real. Let's go. We got it all out. So how you wanna rock me with it, Jay? Anybody can get it, Jay. Big boy is. We got it all out. So how you wanna rock me with it, Jay? Anybody can get it, Jay. This is big boy business. See, I can smoke for everybody. You can get yours when you That's a promise, dog, and I ain't even nervous. You ain't gotta believe me, believe it when it happened, though. Test me if you wanna, go ahead, think I'm capping, yo. I'm just an old man that think that he be rapping, yo. Your girl be trying to leave with me, she see me at the show. If that's your girl...